Have you tried diet after diet without finding long-term success? Well, believe it or not, it's not you. So many people think they know what they need to do to get healthy, but there's so much misinformation out there that many of us are sabotaging our health goals without even knowing it. Hi, I'm Carrie, a wife, mom, educator, and certified nutrition coach. After being frustrated by dieting and all the confusion out there about what actually works, I decided to figure it out. And what I discovered on my journey challenged everything I thought I knew about nutrition. And the solution is actually much simpler than you realize. So now, I'm on a mission to disrupt everything you think you know about nutrition too. Welcome to the Diet Disruptors Podcast.
Well, hey, Diet Disruptors, Carrie here, and whenever I get to do a podcast with another person, I get really excited. And today we have Rosana, and I cannot wait for you all to hear her story. She agreed to come on this podcast with me because even though English isn't her first language, so it could be a little scary, but you have stuff to share, Rosana, and people need to hear it and be inspired. So, hola.
Hola, hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. So happy to be here.
All right. Well, when I asked you if you would do a podcast, you were like, yes, I will share. And I actually started talking to you about this a little while ago. I knew that you were somebody that was going to have a story that was going to be incredible. And you kind of were like, I want to get through the whole honeymoon period. And I say the honeymoon, the first 3 months of education and learning and working with us, we kind of call the honeymoon, because after that, it's cultivating this marriage between you and your body. But let's go back to the beginning. How did you hear about us, me, and what was going on in your life at the time?
Okay. Well, what an honor to be here. And let me try and put it very simply. I am 55 years old, and I've spent from the moment I turned 13 years old until last January searching for the perfect diet to get to my perfect weight. That's how I saw it back then. So of course, just as every month, I would say I was scrolling down Instagram and I found a video of you. I can't remember if it was Instagram or actually Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How about all the places?
Exactly. And I pretty much give everybody a chance. So I've heard a lot of things out there. But there was something
that might be part of the problem.
I mean, really, I've heard lots of videos, I've pre-recorded things. But there's something you said that really caught my attention. And it was the idea of losing weight and entering a nutrition program that included carbs. And for the longest time, it was really that. I've been so scared of carbs. I've always demonized carbs, and I always thought that it was something I could just completely stay away from in order to achieve my goals. And at some points in my life, I have been able, I have considered myself thin in many periods of my life. But last year, there was a lot going on at home, lost a job, and a son got married. So I went on really harsh medicines and injections to lose some weight for the wedding. So I did, and I could fit in my dress, and I was very happy because the wedding was a big blessing in our life. But then comes January, and that was right before Christmas. So I just let go after the wedding. And just by letting go in 1 month, I had gained already 20 pounds. So that was the time when I found you. And when you said that it was including carbs, that really, really got me interested. So I just went on, I listened to the training and got very interested and was very intrigued. And the decision wasn't easy to commit because it's a huge commitment every way you see it. But it was the best decision and the best gift I could give myself. And I think I deserve it.
Now, why? Is it just because I told you could have carbs? Is it just because you're having carbs again?
No, actually not. But I really could not have imagined what I was signing for. It was so much more than I expected. I expected a diet, right? And a new approach and a new nutritional approach, just as the time I went into fasting, into keto, into low carb, into, everything that there's out there. So initially I thought it was just a different approach to losing weight, but boy was I surprised. It's probably the least important of everything that involved, joining the family. Definitely.
So say more about that, because it's so interesting as you've been fighting. So you're 55 and
Yeah.
you've been doing this since you were 13. So let's do the math on that one, right? You were fighting so hard to be this perfect weight, to find the perfect diet, to be a perfect weight. And now that you've gone through kind of what we teach, now I know nutritionally and physically, there's been a lot of changes and you're feeling great, and we can talk about all of that. But when I think about what you were fighting for basically 4 decades,
Mhm.
and knowing now what you know, what's the difference in your thinking and your mindset about what you want? Because, I mean, did you ever really sit down and think, what do I want and why do I want it? You were fighting for something for so long. Think about that. We don't parent like that for 40 years. And for more than 40 years, you were gung ho on something. Why was it so important to you?
For all the wrong reasons, Carrie, because I really, when looking back and reflecting on this, I've always been chasing a size 2.
Mm.
And I had such a wrong approach at being thin. I thought that my value lied on, oh my God, how skinny you look.
Yeah. So
Oh my
that's
God.
why you wanted it. Your
Yes,
value was based on your size.
absolutely.
How,
Absolutely.
who told you that?
I could answer that. I really don't know because I live in a very loving and nurturing environment. I have a great husband that loves me just the way I am, and kids that value me. I've got friends. I mean, I'm very validated all around. It was just me, really.
But isn't
Nobody
that
from the
interesting, right?
outside.
That's why this is like so important. Your story is so important because there's just been this subconscious belief that it's true that you've never even questioned, right?
Ex-
And for the
Exactly.
first time in your life, I started questioning that with you. Your coach started questioning that with you. And it's so interesting to be like, I don't know why that mattered so much. But to
Yes.
do something when I hear a woman like that, and wait, anybody that's listening, I want you to think, how long have you been doing this, right? How long you've been chasing a number. And if you can't really answer why it's so important, and yet you've been focused for so long on it. Isn't it amazing how much grit and strength and tenacity you have? If we could just focus that for the right direction,
That's right.
it's
That's right.
amazing what us women could do.
Because I always attached my self-worth to being able to dominate my hunger.
Mm,
And it
like
was
a badge of honor.
that, why can't I just be in control? Because now I see it differently, because I was trying so many diets, but there's only so much time you can be on a diet. So I thought it was me. Now I know it wasn't me. That they none of those diets that I ever tried, counting calories, taking meds, none of that was sustainable. And I'm a very social person. Now I know it. I'm a 2.
Oh, so
Before I
you're a
didn't.
helper.
Yeah,
Yep. You know so much more about yourself.
exactly. So all the time I thought, well, yeah, I can stand a diet as long as there's no social events, because there's no way you can diet and be social and have people, and attend a dinner party and just be gracious about it, and just live a normal life. So I could stand a diet for 1 month, 1 month and a half, and then break it, and then go all the way to the other side of the spectrum. So that was me, just being able to sustain it. And there was always this anger within me of, why can't I hold this forever? Because it was just impossible. None of those approaches are sustainable. Now I know that. Now I know that.
Isn't that interesting? So, it's funny to me that you said yes, even though you felt like it was probably still going to be a diet. but
Mhm.
taking a different approach to it. At what point, walk us through once you said yes to yourself and you started going down this journey of what I call self-discovery in a lot of ways, right?
Mhm.
Once you started going down this journey, and then let's be clear, I'm not teaching women just love yourself where you are. Like, I want your body to get
Mhm.
leaner and stronger, but probably for different reasons than maybe you did. I want it for the reasons because I think we were all put on this earth for a purpose. And I want
Yes.
you to be around long enough and strong enough to be able to do the things that you're
Mhm.
supposed to do on this earth. And if we are battling being obese, diabetes, metabolic disease, energy, cravings, if we have this horrible relationship with our body and food, we're going to die sooner and we're not going to be able to fulfill our purpose. So I want that for you. I just want it for different reasons. So at
Mhm.
what point in your journey of learning how to fuel your body, learning how to eat, learning, like thinking about your thinking, did you realize, oh, this isn't a diet. This isn't just a new spin on something I've already done.
It's very interesting, Carrie, because the decision to join Disruptive Nutrition was hard at the beginning because I had to pay for it. But
Mhm.
something inside of me just pushed me to do it, right? And so soon, it was probably around halfway through the 4 weeks to wellness.
4 weeks,
I
yeah.
started feeling, oh my God, it's like I joined a college course. I am learning, and I love to learn, and I'm disciplined, and I'm showing up every morning. And I felt seriously like I had joined like a very pretty legit certification of something that I felt like this is real. This is
Mhm.
like really valuable. And I loved everything that you taught me, and I loved showing up for my lessons. And then when the second month arrived, I have always had the idea that eating was so linked to psychology, that it was something inside of our minds that triggered to it. But what you taught me during the second month was just mind blowing. Was just mind blowing. I mean, to develop systems, to be able to be consistent. One of the main things that really forever changed my life, and I'll be forever grateful for that, is consistency over perfection.
Mhm.
And that to me was, I truly believe it. I couldn't tell you that I'm right now where I want to be. I still want to lose weight and I still want to be toned and stronger, but I know I will get there. Now I
Yeah.
know.
Isn't that different?
Even it might take a year. I don't know. My body is very resentful of everything I've did and all the wrong approaches. I bet it is. And my age and menopause and all, just life. But I am doing everything that you taught me with such um, I don't want to say perfection, but I'm doing it to every single detail. I'm doing it. So I know that one day I will be there where I want to be. And
Well,
now I know.
that to me is a definition of confidence. And I love that you said that because I always say confidence does not come because you've met a goal. And in fact, I don't want anybody to actually meet all their goals because then what are we doing? Like, I want us to keep up leveling for the right reasons. Our why has to be around heart versus ego. But confidence does not come because you've met a goal. Confidence comes when you know what you're doing is right. And you have that confidence. How do you know that what you're doing is right? What has your body said to you? What is your how has your thinking changed? Like, how do you know? Because that's a hard thing to be able to just say, like a Twitter feed. Like, I know this is right because, right? It's
Yeah.
multi-layered. So help us understand how a person knows that what they're doing is right for them for a sustainable lifestyle.
Well, the first thing I noticed, I started sleeping. I
Mm,
started sleeping. And to me, that's, I mean, just that little thing just, turns your life around.
yeah.
I'm full of energy. I don't feel on a diet. And that to me is, I get emotional, Carrie, because I'm not on a diet and I'm happy and I'm in no need, no urge to eat the things I was eating. I have not touched gluten. I don't miss gluten. I don't miss it. I mean, I don't miss
And
sugar.
that's interesting because I think what people need to realize is like, I'm never going to tell you what you can or can't have.
Mhm, mhm.
That's not a meal plan that I've given you. I've taught you what your body feels like without it for a little while. And then you've been able to make that decision. We know what gluten does to the majority of us, but you've made that decision. You didn't follow a rule of a diet. Don't you think that makes a difference?
it's a total difference. And
Mhm.
then even on rewards or appreciation meals, now I believe that my body can handle it. Every
Yes.
now and then, I'm not even doing it every week, but because I want to, I don't need it every week at this point in my life. Maybe, when we move closer to the next wedding, because my daughter's getting married, then maybe I might have a different, a little bit more of appreciation meals. But I've learned to lose my guilt when the
Wow.
times I've had the appreciation meals. I've learned to allow myself that
Yes.
or that moment because it's okay. My body knows what to do with it, and that it's so
That's
liberating.
amazing.
It's just so liberating.
Isn't that incredible? And that's what I think is so important around the concept of an appreciation meal. And I think some people, when they hear that, they think, well, you're just reframing the word cheat meal. And I think, gosh, I am absolutely not, because an appreciation meal is so different. When your body is balanced over a period of time, you're balancing your blood sugar. Your body is now functioning with homeostasis, meaning hormonal balance, physiological balance. And before you came to us, your body had been on this crazy blood sugar roller coaster. So anytime you had a quote unquote cheat meal, your body held on to it. It didn't metabolize it well, it didn't absorb it well, and it just really would wreak havoc because it would be on this huge blood sugar spike. But now, because you've been working with your body for so long, when you have an appreciation meal, your body's like, no problem, girl, we got you. You sit back and relax right now. We got you. And then you can appreciate the meal and the experience for what it is, a soul filling experience. And we know food serves our body and food serves our soul. And that's what we're talking about. And there's no guilt. And of course you should appreciate that. That's totally different than a cheat meal.
Totally, totally agree. And just learning to know your body from the inside, to know what my body loves and what my body doesn't love is just so it's like a big awakening. It's like a big awakening. I wonder, having the monitor, the glucose monitor, I wonder what my body used to be like when every time I was feeding it with sugar. And because even now eating, perfectly balanced meals, it's hard for the glucose to be low. So it's like, oh God, I wonder what I did for years and years.
Right. And that's what's so interesting. And that's why I tell people all the time, please don't just go and get a glucose monitor. You need to understand your body, because it becomes another diet. It becomes, oh my gosh, this spikes my blood sugar. I can't eat this, right? You know how, because you know your body, because you know the science of food, because you understand blood sugar, you know how to use a glucose monitor to be able to give you data, but not to take away certain foods and not to become obsessed around a different scale, right?
Exactly, exactly. Plus, the glucose monitor without the mindset teachings is nothing. It's really nothing.
Say more about that.
Really, because it's all about understanding, where that need for food comes, and the joy of knowing that you're feeding your body, that you're feeding it with nutrients, that every day I'm working towards my longevity, and that I'll get to be here for a long time, and one day meet my grandkids and just be young for the longest time. So it's so much more than just the size or just the calories. It's just
Oh
so
my
much
God.
more. So the mindset is
Absolutely.
different. And I did not understand that when I first signed up. I just couldn't have seen it.
And you're already saying things around your why that's so different, that I can be around for my grandkids and be active and vibrant. And that is so different than saying I have to be a size 2. Maybe you'll be a size 2 during that, get it there. But that doesn't become the end all be all. Because one is coming from ego, one is coming from heart. And when you come from your heart, you'll show up in a very different way. How are you showing up for yourself differently now that your why is coming from your heart instead of from your ego?
Well, I continued to show up every single morning. Right now, I'm about to finish my job cycle because I'm a college counselor, and it ends with the
Yeah.
school year. And I've got so many plans for the summer. Exercise wise, I signed up for my power hour for my first power hours in
Yes,
June.
because for those people that don't know, after the honeymoon, you
Oh
now have
yes,
your
and there's so much
cultivation.
to learn.
Yes.
Just spending time browsing through the recipe vault. I love to cook and I know how to cook. So it's easy for me to put up something. If you give me the ingredients, I can just put up something. But I haven't studied the vault, in
Yeah.
with time. So and your book studies, I just want to go through all of them, all of them.
And
Many of
that's
the books.
why you're lifetime. That's why I want people to be lifetime members, because I want you here forever, because there's so much to continue to learn. Like, keep up leveling, keep learning, keep understanding. And power hours are the workshop every month for you to continue to say, okay, this is how last month went. This is where we are this month. How do I continue to show up for myself? So when you think about your thinking, right? And now that you're showing up for yourself in this way, how has your thinking changed? And I'd love for you to be kind of sharing a little bit about how, like, the process that you knew your thinking was changing, when you realized you started thinking differently about what you wanted, what you needed, and why.
Well, I realized it, as I said, pretty soon, but it must have been around month 2 when one day I just discovered there's no need to ever go back. I'm staying
Ah.
this way. I'm staying this way. I'm staying with this morning ritual, with my exercise, with my way of eating, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush. I don't need to. I stopped weighing myself. It wasn't easy to do that, but I did stop weighing myself. I have not been on the scale for the longest time.
What did that do for you?
At first, it was hard. It was hard.
Why do you think it was so hard?
I was very conditioned to measure success just by seeing the scale go down. I did it once or twice. And then I just, of course, my coach has a lot to do with this, but I stopped doing it. I stopped doing that to myself, and just,
And what happened after you stopped? After you gave it up and said no more scale?
I became free. It was so great. I'm free. And yes, I cannot tell you that my clothes all are big, because I'm the kind of person that used to have a size 2, a size 4, a size 6. It's just easy for me to just depending on the time that I was living, I have clothes for every season of my weight. So I did shift to a smaller size, and that's it. And that's my measure of success. And the way I'm feeling, and also something that I discovered during month 2 and half of month 3, I had lots of trips. And one of the things that I was the most scared of is, will I be able to maintain this lifestyle outside my home? And I was so surprised. But I've been able to do it in every trip, and a trip that involved a wedding, a big party, a trip to London.
Oh, look
a
at
trip,
you socializing and
oh,
still being able to serve your body.
and being on a plane, and being on restaurants, and I was so proud of myself, Carrie, and so it gave me this sense of safety, that you can do this for the rest of your life. You can.
Oh,
There's no
I
need to it.
love that. So I love the word that you just used around that sense of safety. Control is what I think about too. When life gets chaotic, whether it's by your choice because you're doing all this traveling, or when curveballs get thrown at you and you don't plan it, what I hear from our clients time and time again, and I want to know if this is what you're feeling now too, is that because you know what to do, how to show up for yourself, that was actually like the North Star, the safety point, the control in the world of chaos. It was the calm. It was
It's
the
like on to that structure, and I can deal with the world, and I don't have to sacrifice that, because
yeah.
in my lifetime it was okay, impossible, no diets, no diets while traveling.
Oh,
What happens after you travel? You enjoy, you have fun, and then you come back to 10 more pounds.
yep. And then you have to go look for another diet.
Exactly. And more guilt, and more, sadness. And this
Not to
time,
mention what it's also doing to your body.
exactly. The yo-yo dieting.
Yeah, because we say that all the time, right? Weight gain is a symptom of health and hormones. It wasn't a symptom of just like being off a diet, off and on a diet. It's actually health.
Exactly.
How do you look at your health now differently than you did before? Because we can, it's a focus, but was it really if we're willing to go on the yo-yo?
Well, it wasn't, I mean, I can't say I did it because I had an illness. Thank God I'm a very healthy woman,
Right,
but I feel amazing. I
right.
just feel amazing. There's something to the levels of energy, being able to exercise every single morning, just having a good quality of sleep. It's a totally different thing. And I am taking some supplements, and I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism when I turned 40. Now I'm gonna go to the doctor and see what they say. I don't know, but I feel
There's a whole connection there with your blood sugar, so I can't wait to hear what your doctor says about that. But that's
I'm
the thing, as you get older, right? So many of us think, "Oh, I'm just getting older, so I am naturally going to slow down." What you're seeing at 55 is that you can actually reverse that trajectory from feeling worse and worse every year to actually feeling better and better, because it is about health. While maybe you were like, "I'm okay right now," it's not going to stay that. We don't stay the same. We're either going to progress or we're going to regress. And we're fighting the age train, and we're almost speeding it up. We are speeding it up. You were speeding it up, the age train.
And I learned from you that to think of where you should be today in order to be okay in 10, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my challenge. I gotta, bring up the ability to exercise. I want to do more in strength training. I want to be able to run again. I used to be a runner in my 40s, and then I just completely stopped running. Now I feel like, okay, I can run again. I feel the energy, and that's amazing. Yeah,
That is amazing. And that's what I mean around, if we could harness the energy that us women have been spending on decades and decades of trying to find the right diet, of deprivation, of yo-yoing, of really shaming ourselves and focusing on the wrong why, boom, we then could shift and do so many more things. And the sky's the limit. I'm just so excited that you're just like, okay, now what's next? Now what's next? Now what's next? And at 55 years old, how many women want to be like all of us? So you're on a like your kids are getting married, like you're your own person now. And
yeah.
you get to show up for yourself in a totally different way. And I don't know about you, but for me, as I think about my kids in the future and their kids, I don't want them to have the burden of having to take care of me. And that is on you, Rosana. That is on me. That is on every single person. My doctor's never going to be able to prescribe a medication for anything that's going to literally keep my kids from having to take care of me. It's going to be me showing up for me every day today, so that in 10, 20, 30 years, I'm still able to stand up if I fall, to be able to bring myself to my own doctor's appointments, to be able to walk out my door, maybe run and continue to strength train.
And not only that, but I certainly don't want them to go through what I went through to get to this part of the truth. I really am so proud of how much more, they're just better than me in any way, but they are watching and they're so proud. And then my son says, it totally makes sense. I've got a scientific son. He's a molecular biologist. So he's, oh, this is it. This is it.
So this is always the question I ask people. If you could figure this out, who else benefits from this? And that's exactly what my real why is for disruptive nutrition. Sure, Rosanna, I care about you. I want you to get healthy. But at the end of the day, I want to end the generational cycle that we have. I want to end the generational cycle of dieting, of believing that our value is in a number, and of metabolic disease that's killing 9 out of 10 people in their 60s and 70s. We have a problem in this country, and we know dieting works. Dieting does not work. Sorry. We know dieting doesn't work. And so all we think of is, okay, now we got to go for a magic weight loss pill. When in all reality, there's something in the middle. It's not a diet and it's not a magic pill, but it's an education. It's understanding our bodies and relating it to our mind. And look at who else is benefiting because you said yes to yourself. You're changing your family tree, Rosana.
Oh my God, may that be true for the longest time, because really so many mistakes looking back. And I've also worked hard in forgiving myself for that.
Ah,
Because
good.
I was just a product. I don't know. I was just a product of society.
Yeah.
And you know, on one side you have the health, industry, because you everybody wants to be healthy, and on the other side it's the vanity and the, oh, you have to be stick thin, and you have to be, your waist has to be like this. And no, nobody talks about optimal health.
Health,
And
right.
yeah, and so yes, I'm very, very happy about my kids, and the two that are getting married, starting their own families with a different perspective, with different goals, and it's just so great to see it.
And you
And
could never teach this, right? You could learn it in a book or learn it somewhere, but you could never actually teach it unless you live it.
definitely,
And
definitely.
that's what you're doing.
Yes, I'm very happy, Carrie. Really looking back, it's the best thing I've done for myself by far. I'm in it forever. No, not going back. I'm not going anywhere. There's so much more to learn. So much more to learn.
I am so proud of you. You've shifted body, mind, and now you know how to do it forever. And it wasn't that long ago that you felt unsure, not confident, and frustrated. And now look at you. You're practically your own nutrition coach. And that's what we want. I want to go from me as the expert to you as the expert. And look at that. That's what happened. Can you imagine? Would you have ever thought you would be here right now doing a podcast with me, sharing your
No.
stories, and knowing even more that you could teach others this?
Yes, no, I could never imagine it. Um, I just wish everybody knew that when you say this is the last diet ever you'll need, you mean it. It's true. It's true.
Last nutritional advice, not diet.
Exactly. Last nutritional advice or nutritional program
Yeah.
you'll ever, for sure. It
Yeah.
is. This is the way to go. This is the way to treat our bodies, and this is the way to make sure we're here for a long time.
I love that. Well, if you're watching this live with us, or even if you're watching it on replay, give Rosana some love, because I don't know about you, but you would never have known English was her second language, because you're so articulate, you're so inspirational, you're so honest, and I actually, I don't know if you feel this way, but I'm actually so appreciative of the 40 years of crazy that you were going through, because all of that led you to today, to the future, to inspiring others. And if you didn't have the story that you have to tell, it's like we don't know joy, peace, confidence until we actually have turmoil and chaos and a lack of confidence. And so because you had all those things, you can appreciate so much where you are right now.
And then turn my mess into a message, as I've learned.
Turn your mess into a message. I love that. Well, on that, give Rosana love. Tell her what you're taking away from this and how you are inspired. And, we're stuck together, Rosana. So this is why we always want to have a call with women first, because we got to like you, because you're going to be sticking around with us for a lifetime.
Saying,
So
thank you
if
so much for making me
I'm
part of
so excited for you. If you want more information about how we work with women, or to kind of see if this is a lifestyle that might be good for you, put lifestyle in the comments and we can connect with you. Thank you, Rosana. Muchas gracias, mi amor.
Thank you. Thank you. Un abrazo.